Hello and welcome to Tim's Bits and Pieces. I will be showing you model train tips and tricks, layout build, new items for the layout, repairs and servicing of locos and rolling stock, 3D prints as well as four-wheel drive repairs, DIY projects and much more. So grab a drink, a bite to eat, sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave your comments. Let's get on with it. Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video I will be showing you a bit more of what I've done to do the wiring for the layout design and the switches and the sidings for my temporary layout. It's a very basic layout and all I'm doing is providing power to the sidings through switches and general power to the track where I have power on both sides, on one supply on one side, one supply on the other, so that I have permanent power all around the track. And I'm just going to show you what's involved in what I did and how I did to wire it all up. So stay tuned and see what happens. Thanks for watching. Okay, so you can see I've got everything ready now. I've got my two wires that are ready. This one is coming from the track. This one is going to my power source. So we'll do from the track first, and from the track is always the top. It's just how I do it. So it's just a little system that I have so that I know what I'm doing. Alright, so we've got the solder there. And this is, I'm doing this left-handed, so anybody can do it, no matter who you are. Right, just a touch of solder, just to preheat that, get that warm. Alright, just makes it easier for soldering. Alright, and from my track, I know is on the top one. Alright, so just touch that. Let that go. Yes, I am a bit shaky today. That's not normally me, but it's just the way it is with me. So yeah. Alright, and as I might have mentioned when I've done other stuff, I always put one in one way and one out the other way. So I know from the track is coming this side, so with the wiring is going in and out. So on the other side, I'll put the wiring on the other side of it, which goes from the switch to the power source, or from the power source to the switch, whichever way you want to look at it. So just put a bit of heat into that. And just touch that on there, give it a bit of heat. And there you have it. It's as simple as that. It's not meant to be hard. It's fairly easy to do. Just be careful that when you are soldering these little switches, not to put too much heat from the soldering iron, otherwise you will melt all the plastic around the toggles or around the little pieces that you're soldering onto. Alright, and as soon as you do that, the switch doesn't work. So just also make sure that when you've done it, you've got solder on both sides, as in this side of it and in there. Alright, so we're just having a look, just check. Make sure the switch is still working, so it is, right? Alright, and there we have it. So this is now ready with the power coming from the track on one side and going out the other side. Alright, so to continue on from what I was explaining before, you can see here I've got my switches. And as I showed you on earlier, the power to the track is there on that side, and the power coming in is from that side. I've got a power in here, which is my main supply coming in from the track, from the power controller, which is these two. I go into a block of negatives, and then all the negatives are wired into those two. As you can see, all the negatives. And then what I have here is the power comes in here, into this, and then I've just made a daisy chain of all of this, as you can see, and then I run the power off into the switch, and into each one, and then I've got it written here underneath. I've got outer, main, inner, and then I've got, that's one of the sidings, which is a switch there, and as I showed earlier, power comes in and the power goes out. And what I've done is I've just marked them with a piece of tape on each one. As you can see over here, all the sidings have all got that's the coloured wires that I showed earlier when I was doing the sidings, and that's the wires coming in. And what I do is I just put some cable ties on it just to make it easier, neatens everything up. And then I've got the two supplies that come from those switches. I use Ethernet cable, and the Ethernet cable goes out underneath the track and supplies power to the track. So these are the sidings, and this is another power for a siding. Then you've got your negatives all the way around. So if I turn this over, this is my track plan, as you can see, and it shows you the main circles. The sidings, I haven't got power to that siding yet. I haven't got any power here because that's just here, but that's my 3 main loops, or the 3 circuits. Then I've got power to a siding here, and then I've got power to each of those sidings. That one there doesn't have power because that gets its power directly off the track here. As I switch the points, that one is positive, and I just connect the positive track, and the negatives all come back to the negative bus here. See, the negative bus here, because that's then easier when everything's wired up. All the tracks have their supply, and then the negatives all come into one area. So at least it's easier for me when I want to do fault finding. I've just got the negatives I know are okay, and everything's color coded, which makes life a lot easier for me. As you can see, as you can see, I've got the tags, which is the names of the tracks that it goes to, each one, and that tells you that's the one for the main group of those, which are over in that area, over hang on, in that group of track over there. So it's fairly basic. It's not rocket science. It's only DC, and everything's powered there. I'll just have a screw through the board which holds the connectors there, and 2 screws which hold the other connector on the other side on here. And I just have 2 screws, of which goes on here, and it just screws into place down there. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, by all means just send me a message, or put a comment in the comments. It's very simple, it's easy to understand, and the way I do it, I like to keep it simple so that I don't have troubles, because it's easier that I know, oh okay, there's a problem in that piece of track. I know that it's in the X whatever area, and the color code is on the tracks and also here. So it just makes life a whole lot easier for me. I only use one controller at the moment because it's only a temporary layout, so one controller controls everything. But when I build my new layout, which will be soon, I will have a controller for different areas of the sidings for the different tracks, and I have different controllers that I can use and will use depending on what I want to do. So I hope that helps. If you've got any questions, by all means leave it in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.